You ever drop a song and feel like nobody really heard it? No comments, no support, just silence. Uploaded, forgotten. Streaming numbers don't mean nothing. But what if there was a place built different? Where artists don't get buried, they battle. Where fans don't scroll, they connect. Where your sound actually gets heard. Swain Family Records. Music competitive arena, real battles, real fans, real connection. No gatekeepers, no fake hype, just music. And a community that listens. This is your moment to be seen, to be heard, to be part of something bigger. Join the movement, build your sound. This ain't for everybody. This is for the ones who know they got it and ready to prove it.
All right, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight Interview with Clayton Barnes and Lora Cruz. And before we begin, I want to send out my well wishes to Miss Lora. She's currently having some medical problems. We all love you, girl. I hope everything's all right and hope you recover and get well soon. We'll do our best with your songs. And, we all know Clayton and I, we can have some fun with everything. And, we're thinking about you. So much love, girl. Hope everything's good.
Yep.
All right, and welcome everybody to Swain Family Records Music Competitive Arena Spotlight Interview, where today we are doing something special. We're getting a little bit personal with the artists tonight, getting a little bit about their inspiration, maybe some of the reasonings behind their songs, maybe other inspirations as well, and a little bit of personal history. So it's going to be a little fun event. And we all know Clayton shows up to just about every single one of our events. He definitely brings it. I've been around Lora as well. She's an amazing woman with a great personality and a huge spirit. So I hope everything goes well. So with that said, Clayton, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm like a bad virus. I just keep showing up to these things. So
keep showing up, and you're kind of like Larry, when you're showing up, you're taking either wins or ties and all that.
So yep. So anyway, yeah, definitely wish Lora the best. I know she was feeling a little under the weather today, so she wasn't able to make it, but she did send us her songs, and she's got some awesome music. So I look forward to hearing what she sent.
All right, so before we start, tell us a little bit about yourself and where we can find your music at.
Yeah, my name is Clayton Barnes, and you can find my music on most of the major streaming platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Apple. Sorry, Sherry. That's a sore subject, I know. Anyway, YouTube music, these are those. Anyway, I'm actually in the process of just starting to do my third album. So I'm looking to kind of get heavy on that this week and hopefully get that out pretty soon.
Awesome. And what out there inspired you to get into music?
So I've always had an interest in music. My dad used to listen to, he was mainly like a country western, country fan. So he listened to a lot of the old stuff like Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Merle Haggard, all the oldies. And he also he was also a songwriter, and he wrote his own lyrics and would, put them to music and that kind of thing. And so we grew up kind of listening to that. And so he was kind of a bigger inspiration that way. And then as I grew up, I kind of got into other genres. I started, really liking rock and, Motown and those kind of things. So my taste kind of expanded, and I have very eclectic music taste. There's like not a lot that I don't like. So anyway, but I've always been interested in writing. Also, I've always been pretty good at it, and just kind of learned how to craft it into lyrics. And I also process my thoughts a lot through writing. Like when things are bothering me, or there's things in the world that are crazy, and I just try to process it all. I tend to write about it, and so it's kind of like therapy for me. It's cheaper than therapy, so I always enjoy doing that. And then, but I've never learned an instrument, so I was kind of always I had these stacks of lyrics and like tunes in my head, but I couldn't really do anything with them. And then when I started discovering some AI programs that would let me generate music and voices and things like that, it was really kind of a game changer for me. And I was able to put that together. And so it's been a lot of fun. It's just my full-time hobby. On a typical day, I spend 8 to 12 hours writing, or working on my music. So,
wow, that's a long time, man.
About being retired is I just get to play all day. I mean, because to me, it's not work. So,
hey, welcome to that life. I'm a disabled vet, and I get paid to sit on my tail all day and just come up with random stuff for music as well. Definitely put out a whole bunch of rando stuff when I initially started, just off of random inspiration. I put like no thought behind it, but I've definitely evolved since then, and I've definitely seen an evolution with you too as well, dude. Like,
thank you.
Really seen you breaking out of your shell with these other genres that I didn't typically hear when I first joined Swain Family Records. And I'm like, wow, Clayton can bring it in every genre. He kind of reminds me of Pink, like Pink could do every genre too pretty well, and she was a huge inspiration as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm not as good looking as her, but but anyway, I have a face for radio. But anyway, but I have fun with it, and I think I've grown a lot as a songwriter, just being around other really talented people like yourself, and like Josh Welsh, and gosh, there's so many, Mae Morton, Larry, Forge, and I'm just like I go on and on. There's like so many people that I'm really just a big fan of, and I follow their music, but sometimes I'll hear them do things and I'll think, well, that's pretty cool. Like I should try something like that. And so, I think we all kind of, what's that thing? A rising tide lifts all ships or something. So I think as you get exposed to that, it gives you fresh perspectives, and it really challenges you to kind of push yourself.
And
so,
and that's the thing with music. It is such a broad spectrum of potential inspiration there. It's like what I say with any type of art, and music is a type of art. It is very subjective. Some types of art require a very specific audience. Like not everybody liked Pablo Picasso as an artist, or not everybody liked Van Gogh as an artist. But you know what? They definitely had their fan base. They definitely had people that can admire and appreciate the works that they did. And with music, it's something that can also last for many generations. I mean, how many stuff from back in medieval days, still shows up today at times. And, it's been modernized to a certain extent. It's like with any type of book publishing and all that. We did a little experiment on this in school, where we started off saying one sentence, and you had to carry that sentence on throughout each classmate. And then by the time that last classmate got that sentence, it could change pretty drastically depending on how it was spread. And that's something that happens with music as well. It starts out one way, and many people can have their own versions of that song and maybe even change up some lyrics. And it could be so different by the time it gets to 2026 today than it was like back in 1500 or something like that.
Well, like one song I think about. Simon and Garfunkel did a song called "The Sound of Silence," which is a great song.
Awesome,
like beautiful
song,
harmonies, beautiful harmonies, all that. And I thought, well, nobody's ever going to be able to do this song. And I heard a version by Disturbed, and it's freaking awesome. I mean, I love it. I think he does such a great job on it. David
Draymond's got an amazing voice. I freaking love him.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's one of the bands I really, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say like that I have, well, I have some genres that I like. I really tend to like a lot of the alternative rock and stuff like that, but there's a lot of metal I like. I'm a big, Big Disturbed fan, of Smashing Pumpkins, even like, I mean, maybe they're not really metal, but like Skillet, I really like them. There's lots of bands that I really enjoy or admire, and but it's like it's kind of cool, like to hear even when they do cover songs when they're remaking them. It's kind of cool to see what kind of twist they put on them. So it's
Well, speaking of twists, this is definitely a topic that comes up with today's modern age in 2026. Your first song that I was sent, Deep Fake. What was your inspiration behind that one?
Yeah, so I just kind of got fascinated with the whole deep fake thing. I think most people probably are familiar with that, but it's basically where they use like they might have an actor and they kind of regenerate or like put a AI regeneration over the face or something. So what kind of got me interested in it was if you Google like Tom Cruise deep fake, all these videos pop up, and there's like one of him giving guitar lessons. There's one where he's singing like karaoke out of tune. There's one where he's like all these things that he's doing, these different things, and it's not him, but it looks just like him. And it's like you really like if you didn't know, you'd say, "Oh, that's Tom Cruise." And so I was really fascinated, like how crazy it's getting, and even like I've seen some where they did politicians. And they're
It's
saying
getting
things that
so realistic.
It's scary in a way.
Insane. I was sent a David Tennant video because I was contacted by a fake David Tennant profile on Facebook, and I love messing with fake celebrity profiles. I get under their skin too. But so he messages me and he swears he's the real David Tennant. And I'm a huge David Tennant fan. Now, mind you, I'm not like a stalker or anything, but I know the man's history. I know he doesn't have social media. I follow him, on, his, what do you call that? His media reports and all that for his projects and whatnot. And so I know where he's going to be at, especially if he's at a Comic-Con. And, I'll message them. I'm like, okay, so how's the weather here? Even though I know he's somewhere else. And then the profile will be like, well, I'm over here and it's great, and stuff like that. And even though I know that's not where David Tennant's at. And then I'm like, I still don't believe you're the real David Tennant. I want you to message me a video of yourself saying this. And he's like, okay. And I get sent a video of David Tennant saying exactly what I wanted him to say. And it looks like a legit video. The problem is, like, the video I was sent, I knew at the time he had a full beard. And this video, he didn't have a beard. And there's an awesome, amazing thing called Google image search. So I screenshotted that video. I did a Google image search and found out that was actually an old podcast David Tennant did that apparently has been popular with the fakers to make deep fakes out of, to try to dupe fans into thinking that this celebrity's interested in them. Yeah. And then they try to get money off of people. And this is a real life event. Fake celebrity profiles have scammed people out of thousands of dollars of their own money. It is an insane problem. Right. And so I get their Facebook messages shut down. The problem is there are just so many profiles out there. No matter how many get shut down, there's like, 100 more behind it. And it's unfortunate. So I definitely applaud you for getting that word out there.
Yeah, so the gist of the song is basically so I love AI, and so I don't have a, but my thing is like when they're trying to fool you in a way that's, or especially like this either defamatory toward the person or something like that, so I heard recently that so Snoop Dogg, he started doing these commercials. And so they started doing these AI generated things where like he's speaking in Korean, where he doesn't speak Korean, but he does it. But here's the thing. He was aware of it. He was getting paid for it. I have no problem with that. But like where it's a thing where it's, trying to get you to believe, or like get you to believe that this politician said this when they really didn't. I mean, it's kind of scary. It's like you're thinking like, well, how far is it off are we before like a war gets started? Because they just posted this politician saying, that we should just, bomb Russia into oblivion or something.
Right,
so.
God forbid somebody like Putin or Kim Jong-un gets one of these deep fakes and gets seriously offended by it, and it's basically
so
like WTF, what's going on here?
Yeah. So anyway, it's just the song's basically questioning, or basically saying, like how far, so we basically need some kind of guardrails, but and I'm not a real big guardrail person, but I think like sometimes you need some. So anyway, that's kind of what the song's about, and I think hopefully it'll people understand what I'm saying.
Alrighty, well, with that said, we're gonna play Clayton's first song, Deep Fake. So stick around and hope you enjoy it.
Living in a deep fake. Scrolling through the midnight glow, another perfect video. Tom Cruise laughing in a crowded room, singing karaoke out of tune. Looks so real, it hurts my brain. Every blink and every vein, digital ghosts in designer shades, selling the deception that we made. We used to trust what we could see. Now truth's just another casualty. Deep fake, double take. Tell me what is real anymore. Copy paste another face. Watch the whole world go to war. Pixel hearts and plastic souls. Everybody's losing control. One more click and the truth just breaks. Living in a deep fake. Living in a deep fake. Politicians saying things they never said. Headlines crawling through our heads. Somebody crying on a live stream feed. Manufactured tragedy. We got filters for our scars. Algorithms shaping who we are. Mirror, mirror on the screen. Who decides what truth should mean? If fiction feels more real than life, how do we survive the night? Deep fake, double take. Tell me what is real anymore. Copy paste another face. Watch the whole world go to war. Pixel hearts and plastic souls. Everybody's losing control. One more click and the truth just breaks. Living in a deep fake. Maybe we're addicted to illusion, trading honesty for entertainment. Every generation wants salvation, but now deception's automated. Can't tell authentic from the actor, can't tell the hero from disaster. Truth is drowning in the static noise, while the whole world plays with digital toys. Deep fake. Everybody's somebody else. Deep fake. Even I don't know myself. Deep fake. Double take. Reality is slipping away. Synthetic smiles, corrupted files. Nothing's what it used to be. If seeing ain't believing now, who do we believe somehow? One more swipe and the truth just fades. Living in a deep fake. Underneath the blue screen haze, we're all getting rearranged. Living in a deep fake. Living in a deep fake. Living in a deep fake.
Awesome job. That definitely had some. It had some bass. It had some kick, and it had some tones in there. As we discussed, definitely some stuff that we've seen in person out there as well. And when it mentioned about, hiding the scars as well on your skin, um, uh, that kind of reminded me of the chick on TikTok. She had millions of followers, and then one day her filter glitched and it revealed her to be a different person, and then she lost like millions of followers right away.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I was looking at this thing today. They were talking about this. There's this like a model or influencer or something, and she's like, I think she's like part Asian and part Canadian or something. But they were talking about how she's on like all these stock photos. Like her and this photographer did all these stock photos and put her in different scenes and things. And they said she's like everywhere. Like she's on like all kinds of commercials, everything. And evidently she makes a nice living at it. So, but yes, it's crazy how they do all the, all that stuff. Yeah.
It is insane. And nowadays, you never know who you're talking to. I actually recently had to have a serious talk with my daughter because we have her niece visiting over from another state. And there is definitely some issues going on there where there was phone numbers that we didn't recognize and that was put in their phones or given to them from somebody that they've met, but they've never personally met the person behind this phone number.
Yeah.
And when I looked up the phone number, this was a much older guy. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of crazies going on there. And it's definitely something you really got to be aware of your own safety on. Just because somebody messages you, unless you know that person in person, I personally wouldn't, want anything to do with them. Now, in this case, with Swain Family Records, I've been on several live streams with you guys. I have full trust and confidence that you guys are obviously, who you say you are. We've done so many collabs. Renegade Butcher in the comments.
You gotta read that.
I bet he'd be running those happy ending massage parlors afterwards too, huh?
He's hilarious guy. So yeah. So anyway, I guess I should tell him what his comment was, because so everybody knows what we're laughing at. He says, "I'm actually a 70-year-old Korean woman. Don't tell anyone." So anyway.
And yeah, definitely some oh gosh.
We'll read that one.
Butcher, you're like ruining my composure here tonight. But see, that's how we are as a family. We all rag on each other. We have our occasional friendly music battles, and I say friendly. Like we don't take it personal, but we can get under your skin at times. But it is all fun and good. Just like I live in Oklahoma City and my Spurs took the Western Conference, so that was definitely some positive vibes my way. But so far, it's just been smack talk between me and Thunder fans, no biggie. But before I get off track there, I'm gonna play one of Nora's songs here, or Lora's songs. Excuse me. I'm losing my train of thought tonight. Let's see what I have here for her first song. She said the first one is called "I'm Finally Me." I wasn't sent a description for her songs, but we all know that from what I've seen, Lora tends to speak a lot from her life experience, from her own personal issues, her, medical issues she's currently fighting through. And Laura's been known to do some pretty intense and serious topics. So what do you think about that title, Clayton?
Yeah, I love her music. She definitely, you can tell that she puts a lot of herself into it. That they're just, her lyrics are very honest and vulnerable, I guess. So, or emotional, I guess. So there's a lot of emotion in it. Like you can tell, like that this wasn't just like a a cool idea that she had. So yeah, I really liked her stuff. So I'm a little
Well,
distracted by the cat here that's staring at me.
understandable. This
Trying to make
also,
it
from
appearance.
just from the title alone, this does sound like a form of self-discovery in a way, without having listened to it yet. So we'll see if we'll see the meaning. She's got really great meaning behind her lyrics. So definitely looking forward to listening to this.
In the quiet, I feel my life as a waste. Everywhere I turn, I still see his face, his memory ingrained and stuck in my thoughts. Sometimes my heart sinks, my soul gets lost. I try to shake his name far from my mind and understand that now is a different time. In the nightmare of his touch, every memory is burned. The way he used to scream my name is around every turn, in every shadow. The thought of him lurks. I'm now a strong woman, but I still hide this hurt. I fall in the silence with nowhere to turn, just shadows to guide me, to allow me to learn. I wake up in the morning, but the fear is still there. A flicker of hope, but I am still scared to dare. I wait for the moment that he leaves out the door, but still I am stuck here. My feet to the floor, my chances come and gone. Tears fall from my eyes. I won't accept defeat. It's time I really try. In the nightmare of his touch, every memory is burned. The way he used to scream my name is around every turn, in every shadow. The thought of him lurks. I'm now a strong woman who still hides this hurt. I fall in the silence with nowhere to turn, just shadows to guide me, to allow me to learn. I find my own spark. I stand up, I step from the dark. With each heartbeat I leave behind the fear. I know my worth and I will not stay scared. I knew I could do it. I knew I could break free. Now I push forward. No chains to hold me. This time I'm finally me.
Wow. Wow. Sorry, I had forgot my mic was still up. But that was a very powerful message there, and it was, as you know, I kind of figured from the title there, definitely a lot of fighting through personal struggles and discovering yourself through a lot of that. Sometimes you find out the person you are through how much you can endure. It's insane. And with this, the way the world is now, there's definitely a lot of tough challenges out there between in her case, health, a lot of people's cases, the economy. It really discovers how far you're willing to push yourself to fight through it.
Yeah, you always feel the emotion in her songs, or at least I mean, I haven't heard all of her music, but I've heard five or six, and really consider myself a fan of her music. But yeah, you always feel the emotion in the song, and I think it's one of the things I've kind of, I guess it's really made an impact on me, just in even like engaging with people on this platform and everything, is to realize that like everybody has a story. Like everybody goes through things in their life, and those things don't have to, like we all have wounds, scars, all that, but they don't have to define you. But they're still a part of you, and so I think if you can, like channel that into something positive, like music, that can actually inspire or encourage others who are going through similar things, I think that's a really beautiful thing. And I think, I'm sure that her music is encouraging and helping a lot of people.
It is definitely some stuff that anyone can listen to, and when they're having a rough time, and need to hear that somebody else knows what they're going through and they understand what they're going through, and is willing to. It's kind of finding somebody to be there with you in a sort of metaphorical way. I know when a lot of us is feeling down, sometimes we turn to our music, or even go on Suno and just write some depressing set of lyrics just to get your thoughts out there, and then you're here getting put out in a music form, and
Yeah.
so sometimes you need to find those outlets. It's one of those things I've said in a few past streams. Do not neglect your outlets. There is so much stuff out there you can find release through. And
Mm.
again, to Laura out there, our thoughts are with you, and stay strong, and we're thinking about you, and hope everything goes well and gets better for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to me, a good song is something that makes you either makes you feel something, makes you think about it. What's the message that's being said, or at least you get a good laugh out of it. So, like to me, it should evoke some kind of emotion or some kind of thoughts, and to me, that's what makes a good song. And her music definitely does that.
It's one of those other things too. And a lot of us didn't realize this at the time, but a lot of us that grew up in the 90s remember, between the 90s and early 2000s, we remember Linkin Park. And their lead singer, Chester Bennington, was going through a lot of personal issues at home. He was fighting depression really hard, and he expressed himself through his lyrics. And we really didn't think much of it at the time. You hear the songs, they were really great bangers for songs, really powerful messages behind those as well. But I guess a lot of the fans didn't understand, the reality behind those lyrics. That he's been expressing his pain for so long, especially since the media didn't always show the real stories at the time, even when MTV was still about music, and they would occasionally do artist spotlights sort of like this, just in a different way. And he would say about the meanings of his songs, but nobody really took it seriously until after we unfortunately lost him to the big S, and it's one of those things where you look back on, you go, oh, that was actually a serious set of lyrics there.
Mm.
And I remember I see Renegade talking about grunge and new metal saving his life a few times, and I know one of the popular grunge bands was Nirvana, and we all know what happened to
Mhm.
Kurt Cobain, and I know there's recent discovery supposedly with what happened to him, but I definitely take mental health seriously.
Yeah.
I take mental health seriously. I lost people to it. We've lost celebrities even to it, whether they're a musician, an actor. Robin Williams was a huge inspiration to my voice acting inspiration, where he could do imitations of just about anything. And even as a
Oh,
little
yeah.
kid, I was trying to do the imitations to everything also. I loved all of his movies, between Mrs. Doubtfire, the Aladdin movies. He was also in an underappreciated movie called Jack. That one pulled at your heartstrings.
Yeah.
And, the world lost great people to it. So
Yeah.
definitely do not neglect your outlets, folks. We all love you.
Right.
All right. Clayton, your next song, New Orleans State of Mind. So what was your inspiration behind this one?
Yeah. So actually, um, so I had done some blues, but I had never really done anything with kind of like jazz in it. And but we had an artist here on the platform that does a lot of that music, and I really enjoy her music as well. That's Melissa Fayazi, and
Yeah.
so I was commenting on some of her stuff, and I said, I really like this. I said, this is about one of the only genres I haven't really done, and so she's like, "We need to do one." And so I was like, okay, challenge accepted. So I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. But anyway, got some good feedback on it. I don't think I've really posted it yet. So, this will probably be first
Ooh,
time for most
so this is
people
gonna be
hearing
like
it,
a
but
debut. Okay.
yeah, so it's kind of so basically it's a song about New Orleans, and it's actually called New Orleans State of Mind. And I've only been to New Orleans. I mean, I've been through it plenty of times on the way to Florida, but I've only stayed there once, and I was like 18 years old, so it's like that was a long time ago. But I have good memories of it. Like just a lot of the architecture and the beignets, and just like kind of was a cool environment, and kind of made an impact on me. So anyway, I just kind of wrote a song as there's somebody that's going there for the first time and just kind of falls in love with it and realizes that this is their home. So anyway, hopefully people will enjoy it.
Yeah, some people are definitely attached to where they move to, and some people never leave that attachment no matter where they move to. So, like, I live in Oklahoma right now, but I'm a San Antonian at heart. I will always represent San Antonio, consider San Antonio my hometown. Even throughout my Navy career and all these wonderful places I got to visit, San Antonio is still my home, no matter what. So, some people have that special love, and sometimes it's been there the whole time, and sometimes you discover it. So, all right, let's get this song played and travel New Orleans with Clayton here.
Yeah. Stepped off the streetcar near Jackson Square. Sweet trumpet sound drifting everywhere. Street lights flicker down on Bourbon Street. Heartbeat sinking to a second line beat. A saxophone wails like it knows my name. Every corner singing, nothing feels the same. Old brick walls got stories to tell. I took one breath and I fell under the spell. Oh, something in the rhythm, something in the breeze wrapped around my heart so easily. I got a New Orleans state of mind, where the music rolls and the soul unwinds. Every note feels like it's mine, like I've been gone just biding time. From the bayou moon to the morning light, everything here just feels so right. I don't know what I thought I'd find, but I found my New Orleans state of mind. Hey, cafe doors open, smell of praline sweet, coffee strong, life moving slow and deep. Laughter rising over clinking glass, moments like this ain't meant to pass. A drummer tapping out a story in the street. I tasted life and it tastes so sweet. Strangers dancing like they've always been free. In this city I found I can just be me. Oh, every little corner calls my name, a different song, but the same refrain. I got a New Orleans state of mind, where the music rolls and the soul unwinds. Every note feels like it's mine, like I've been gone just biding time. From the river song to neon signs, there's a magic here you can't define. I don't know what I thought I'd find, but I found my New Orleans state of mind. Maybe I was lost before I came, chasing something I couldn't name, but in that brass and midnight air I found a piece of me waiting there. Yeah, let that trumpet talk. Let that old piano walk me home. Now I'm in a New Orleans state of mind, where the past and present intertwine. Every heartbeat falls in line, like this whole world finally feels like mine. From the French Quarter down to the tide, I found my truth, I found my pride. I don't know what I thought I'd find, but I found my New Orleans state of mind. Let that music play all night long. I finally found where I belong. Right here is where my soul's aligned. I found my New Orleans state of mind.
Wow. Great job. Great job. I know Melissa Fayazzi would absolutely love this song. It's not as like, what, how do I describe this? Like, it's not as like fast paced, kind of jazzy and stuff like that. This is like smooth and soul, definitely could still feel the thing. And the whole time when my screen was off, I did this with my world tour songs as well. I just closed my eyes, just saw myself in the French Quarter, traveling down, it's nighttime, it's Mardi Gras, everybody's having fun, You're going to some of these smooth areas. I've never been to New Orleans. I almost got to go in 2005, but for unfortunate reasons, for those who know about that particular year. But it's an area I've always wanted to go and visit for sure. And this song definitely took you on a nice trip.
Yeah. It's a cool place. Like I said, I've never lived there, but just to visit, yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, and actually, I sent it to Mel to try to get her like feedback on it, and she only had one criticism of it. She said you mispronounce pralines. She said they call it pralines. And I was like, okay, well, Suno, that's what Suno gave me. So, but anyway.
Sometimes if you're not from the area, it's very hit or miss, especially if you don't get immediate response from somebody that may live in the area. It's like when I included all the foreign language in my songs as well. And I'm like, I hope this saying it right, because I have no clue. I've lived in San Antonio long enough to know what proper Spanish sounds like, but all the other languages is like, nope.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to misspell it for Suno if you want it to pronounce it a certain way. So
yeah, you've seen the crazy spellings I had to do with my Memorial Day song, because I couldn't get it to pronounce Iwo Jima to save my life. So I had to spell it some crazy way to get it to say it, and it did the same thing with ballad. It kept saying ballad instead of ballad, and I had to spell that a crazy way. Totally understandable there.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your favorite thing about New Orleans?
Oh man, well, I love food, so I definitely have fond memories of the food. It was all delicious, but and I love the architecture, the cobblestone streets, the horse and buggy rides. All that was really cool. I also remember a guy like throwing up in a trash can. That wasn't my fondest memory of New Orleans, but
I seen plenty of that during my Navy time.
And then the music's really just has it's a very unique vibe. It's very cool, and it's almost like its own subgenre. It's like the jazz and the blues from New Orleans is just a little bit different from a lot of other places. And like I said, I was pretty young. I actually was a group, and we kind of went through the French Quarter, and we were going through Bourbon Street, and I remember we had some like chaperones with us, and so like, or no, actually, I was like 16, and so I just remember going past this one establishment, and I remember the lady like trying to run interference so we wouldn't look into the window. So it's definitely a very open culture in a lot of ways, but it was a cool experience, so.
Awesome. And I know Butcher said that the music over there is basically a part of the street life, like you can't walk down some of the major areas like, Bourbon Street, being the biggest one that everybody knows of. And you can't just walk down Bourbon Street without hearing something, very New Orleans like there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And for our listeners out there, I promise I'm not bored. I'm on a caffeine crash right now that will be fixed here soon.
Got my coffee right here.
Hey, we both got our coffee songs, and they're both bangers. So,
yeah. All right.
So,
next for Lora.
Laura's next one is called "Ask Him." So, what's your interpretation on what you think the song might be about, just from the title?
Gosh, it's hard to. I mean, I'm thinking it's like probably about you know what's going on, but you're not like maybe you're not wanting to tell the whole story. So like you're just saying, well, ask him. So like I kind of have a feeling about what I think it is, but uh, you know,
I guess I've seen enough Tyler Perry movies to know that "Ask Him," could mean something very scandalous.
yeah. So so it's kind of like when someone else is. If I mean, I'm guessing, but because I haven't actually heard this one, but like I'm guessing, like if there's something that somebody's at fault, but you don't want to like throw them under the bus completely, because maybe it's like a family member that's out, and you're just like, go talk to them. So that's kind of my suspicion on it.
No problem. And again, welcome to all our listeners and audience out there for joining us and whatnot. Again, Miss Lora is going through some personal issues right now, and we all wish her well. I didn't get a summary of all of her songs, so we do hope you enjoy them. She does have some very intense and serious topics behind her words and very real life experiences behind it. So, with that said, we're going to play her next song, Ask Him. And we'll see for yourself on what your meanings are.
Quiet he sits, a sting that goes deep. It is his sanity he's trying to keep. He wants to be numb, not feel a thing. A sad soul where hurt is truly seen. A pup of the devil, a last resort. What comes next for this poor shattered boy? Ask him what he's trying to hide. What's going on? Come on, you gotta confide. If you silence your thoughts, they'll scream at you from inside until you feel like you just want to die. You can make it all go and not come back, but the answer's not inside of that little damn sack. What comes after you escape from the real? Zoned out head, change, not yourself even still. You're in a place that is make-believe, but now that you're there, it's where you wanna be. It's facing death when you think you win. Don't know what you've done or where you've been. Mistakes that you cannot take back, just to try to find what you think you lack. Ask him what he's trying to hide. What's going on? Come on, you gotta confide. If you silence your thoughts, they'll scream at you from inside until you feel like you just wanna die. You can make it all go and not come back, but the answer's not inside of that little damn sack. Your mom's heart aches for a little boy to come back and not turn back anymore. Your daddy's fists have never hit so hard. You wonder when you lose all the scars. None of this matters to you, not now. Ever since you figured out how to kill the feelings deep down in the hole that is your life and that's stolen your soul. Ask him what he's trying to hide. What's going on? Come on, you gotta confide. If you silence your thoughts, they'll scream at you from inside until you feel like you just wanna die. You can make it all go and not come back, but the answer's not inside of that little damn sack. It's not inside that sack.
Wow, that was another intense song there. It was like Butcher said, it was heavy and well written. So good job, Laura, on that one.
Yeah, that was the word I was thinking of, intense.
So was this song what you thought it was? Because it definitely wasn't what I thought it was.
No, it's a little bit different. Um, but yeah, it was very well written.
All right, and again, Laura, our thoughts are with you, and still sending you lots of love, lots of these nice hearts tonight. All right, your third song, "Little Lies." What's the inspiration behind that one?
Okay, so I was trying to bring like kind of do different genres, so it wasn't like bringing all the same thing, trying to vary it up a little bit. Um, had I known that we were going to have some other intense one, I probably would have chosen something a little more lighthearted. But anyway, uh, it's the best way to describe this song. So I took a children's song uh, called "Be Careful, Little Eyes." So it's like so I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but it's like, "Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. Be careful, little feet, where you go." Um, it's like that kind of an idea, and there's a good message with it with the song. So it's basically saying, be careful what you put in your mind. Be careful what you're with your thoughts and things like that, because as your thoughts go, like so does your life pretty much. That's why when you're really depressed, you really have to kind of like get out and do something outside of yourself, like whether it's volunteering or finding something you really love to do and just putting yourself into that, because otherwise you become very me focused and you just kind of like go into some dark places at times. So
It's definitely good to have that outside influence, and
Yeah.
not just your own, deep dark hole that you find yourself stuck in at times.
Right. So anyway, so it's a good message in the song, but um, like not a lot of people listen to children's music all the time. So I thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to have that message put in a way that maybe would be more palatable for like adults. And also I put a little bit of a slant on it. So what I kind of made it about not allowing like children too much unsupervised time on their like screen time. So like whether it's the computer, the TV, whatever it is, like to I'm not anti like don't let your kids on any of these things, but I just think that they're young and they're impressionable. It's good to like monitor that and kind of supervise it a bit. And also we know that like a lot of predators use things like the internet to reach out and
Exactly.
get kids and things.
Goes back to what I
And
said earlier. You never know
Yep.
who's on the other end of that line for sure. And
Exactly.
kids are very susceptible to stuff like
Yeah.
that with today's technology. Like back when I was a kid growing up, we really didn't have all this stuff. Your social media was, gossip amongst your friends, at the
Yeah.
bus stop or at school, or actually hanging out or going to the neighborhood park and talking with the other neighborhood kids. And, we were just getting cell phones and computers and hanging out in AOL chat rooms and stuff like that when we still had 56K dial up and had to make sure nobody else is on the phone and all that. And, that people, there's bad folks out there that found that to be such an easy outlet to
Oh yeah.
get a hold of somebody, gain their trust. And then
Yeah.
nowadays it is so easy to find out where somebody lives. It is quite scary.
Yeah. Yeah, and that person's pretending to be somebody, but they may not, be that person. And but yeah, so like it was kind of like a warning, and so what I ended up doing, I took this children's song, I kind of threw a little like Kurt Cobain in it, like kind of like made it a little grunge Nirvana kind of sound, and then kind of like, but my idea was kind of to make it like almost like a add a little metal in it, like almost like a. So Metallica had a song. I know you heard of this one, Inner Sandman.
Yep.
So I wanted to kind of give it a little bit of that vibe. And anyway, it's a little. I already told my wife. I said you probably won't like this song, but I like it. And I said it does have a good message, because she's not a huge metal fan. But anyway, I just
sounds like we got to convert this person.
so I gave a caveat, but anyway,
Come drag the Metal Monday. We'll convert. We'll convert Mr. Swain himself one of these days. He's getting closer with the trap metal thing coming up. We'll turn him into a metalhead one of these days.
my wife is kind of like she's kind of like a Kenny G guy. She likes Barbara. She likes a lot of that old stuff and Neil Diamond, all that kind of thing. So like we have very different music tastes in a lot of ways, but anyway, I love her. She puts up with me. So anyway,
yes, Butcher. I remember Shoots and Ladders by Korn. That is like all kids lullabies and stuff going on in that one.
Yeah. So anyway, it should be pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully everybody will enjoy it.
Alrighty. With that said, we're going to listen to Clayton's final song of the night, Little Eyes.
Little eyes wide open in the dead of night, screens glowing like a parasite. Every shadow whispers, every image stains, feeding all the sickness crawling through your veins. They sell you poison just a neon light, call it freedom while it steals your sight. Every lie you swallow leaves another scar. Now you don't remember who you really are. There's a voice in the silence calling through the noise, but the world keeps screaming louder, trying to destroy. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Darkness wants your soul, piece by piece. Be careful, little ears, what you believe. Every serpent sounds like sympathy. Be careful, little tongue, what you say. Words can hurt you, lock you in a cage. Be careful, little feet, where you roam. Some roads lead you far away from home. Little ears addicted to the static hum, listening to hatred till your heart goes numb. Every politician with the crooked grin pulls another lost soul deeper in. Little hands reaching for another vice, trading blood and innocence for paradise. Everybody searching for a way to cope, but the needle and the bottle only murder hope. There's a fire still burning under all the shame. You can run from the warning, but the truth remains. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Darkness wants your soul, piece by piece. Be careful, little ears, what do you believe? Every serpent sounds like sympathy. Be careful, little tongue, what you say. Words can hurt you, lock you in a cage. Be careful, little feet, where you roam. Some roads lead you far away from home. Watch your step, the wolves are dressed up in sheepskin. Watch your heart, The monsters still try to get in. One taste, one lie, one wrong turn, and your soul will die. One spark, one flame. Just say no, don't play that game. Don't play that game. There's a father up above, still calling in the silence. Through the ruins and the blood, through the fear and through the violence. When the whole world drags you under, when you're hanging by a thread, mercy standing in the shadows, waiting for the words unsaid. Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Not every lie was meant to lead. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. The sweetest lies are born from fear. Be careful, little tongue, what you say. You can curse your soul away. Be careful, little feet, where you go. The gates of hell are paved in gold. Oh, be careful. Be careful. Little soul in a wall gone cold. Be careful where you go.
Amazing job there. Definitely. There we go. Amazing job there. Definitely some very serious topics there. I'm actually going through some of these issues myself, as I explained earlier, with sometimes when you discover stuff on your kid's phone and you're looking into it and discovering just what they've been doing, behind your back is freaking nuts at times. And people have gotten in trouble for things they said. Like I remember one of the lines about, words can hurt you and lock you in a cage. I took that as, you're saying the wrong things online, and people perceive it as the wrong way, and maybe you might have the police at your door one day.
Yeah.
Because you got mad or frustrated and said, you're gonna start up like another Uvalde or a Sandy Hook or something, and next thing you know, you got SWAT at your door, taking everything seriously. And these are very serious topics. And I even had my Amazon warehouse that I worked at in San Antonio evacuated because a former disgruntled employee decided to post pictures of a bunch of weapons and said he was going to come and take care of us on a certain night. And that certain night just happened to be the night that I worked there as well. We had the local police department, manning, different areas around our Amazon warehouse, even though that supposedly they had spoken to the guy, but he never got arrested though. Yeah. And we were not happy about that. Why would, especially with what's going on in the world, somebody's making threats like that, he's posted some, and you got to take it seriously. Yeah. And yet, the dude's not in jail, and we're expecting PD to help stop us. But anybody that's worked in one of these Amazon warehouses know it is not secure at all getting into it. Anybody can swipe an employee badge and get into there. There's no X-rays going into an Amazon warehouse. You can bring anything in there. It is insanely unsafe. Yeah, definitely. I was thinking too on that line about the words can lock you in a cage. I was thinking also about like bullying. Like a lot of times, kids are on. This is another reason I think it's good to monitor that or supervise it a little bit, is because you don't know like what other kids are saying to to your child, and like that has led a lot of children to like a lot of depression and things like eating disorders, even maybe making some really rash decisions that they can't undo.
being careful how, certain words some of the internet doesn't like you to use. But anyway, just it's like that does damage, because like I mean, you can say what you want about me. I'm an old geezer and I'm tough, like I've been around, I've heard it all. So it's not going to probably affect me as much, but like, a child that really can become their identity, and even if and it can really lead them to some bad places. And
and
so,
no matter
yeah.
how old you get, you can still be susceptible to bullying to some extent. One fine example was I am like mind blanking on his name, but he played the Blue Ranger in the original American Power Rangers, and he was gay and got made fun of by other cast members and whatnot. Was defended by some, but he came out and said he was bullied, and it affected him. Bullying can happen at any age,
Right.
and like Butcher said, it can lock you in a middle cage or social state as well, to where you get bullied so much you don't want to leave the house anymore. Why would you want to put yourself up with these other people like that? Or if you're bullied in what you said at school, your kid's not going to want to go to school. Like, why would you go to school and try when this kid's going to be bullying you for your looks, or because you're a geek, or because you like staying behind to help the teacher clean up a classroom after class, stuff like that.
Yeah. People will say a lot of things online that they wouldn't say to your face also, like, because they probably get punched.
Yeah.
So, like people get, they get really brave when they're, like sitting behind a keyboard. But anyway, so we got one more from Lora, right?
Yes, one more from Lora. And this one is called "What Do We Do with the Living?" So, what's your thoughts on that title?
I don't know. I think there's several ways you could take that. So I'll probably wait to find out.
Same here. Who knows? It could have similar context, and so far, every one of her songs has had very deep meanings tonight. So we will definitely see here. So with that said, we're going to listen to Miss Lora Cruz's song, "What Do We Do with the Living?"
I still set your cup at the table, a habit I just cannot break. I still hear your laugh in the morning that once brightened the start of my day. The coffee gets cold by the window. The sun doesn't ask why I stare. It's like I don't want to move anything, because if I did it would prove you're not here. All the years they don't heal like they promise. They just teach you to carry the weight. There's a version of me that's still standing at the hospital door, way too late. Oh, so what do we do with the living if the living don't know how to live without the hands we wanted to hold longer, and the forever that we'll never get? Every morning I remind myself to breathe. breathe, like it's something that I have to relearn. I write so many letters I can't send, instead watch them burn. Your favorite book on the dresser, half read. I feel like I wanna read it, just to let you know how it ends. All the years, they don't heal like they promise. They just teach you to carry the weight. There's a version of me that's still standing at the hospital door, way too late. Oh, so what do we do with the living if the living don't know how to live without the hands we wanted to hold longer, and the forever that we'll never get.
Wow, definitely another intense song that reminded me a lot of her legacy song as well. You know,
Yeah, you definitely can feel the emotion in that one as well. I think it's, for somebody who's been in like a bad relationship like that, it not only takes a toll on you physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And I think it's just a reminder that, like, hey, you kind of like, to borrow a line from your, like your song, you absolutely matter. And if you're in a situation like that, get help, talk to somebody that you trust, and because you don't deserve to be in that type of relationship and to go through those kind of things. So,
and for those that may not know, and I even made a song to help remember this, but the crisis hotline, if you live in America, is 988, and you can call or text that. If you don't feel comfortable actually speaking to somebody. Definitely, as Clayton said, as I said earlier, do not neglect your outlets if you're having issues. Whether you want to speak, whether you want to call 988, whether you want to call a family member, a close friend, or if you're religious, going to your church and talking to chaplain, priest, vicar, whatever you call them, and whichever religion that you guys worship and whatnot. Definitely don't neglect them. I'm not even religious, and I've talked to chaplains before. They're real nice people to talk to. I've had times where I've had really bad calls as a first responder, and it was really affecting me. And the chaplain was right there, and we talked for like a good 3 hours after that. Just me releasing, venting, and to this day, that particular incident, without giving anything away, I don't know if the guy made it. I don't. I still remember his face. I still remember everything when I got there. I won't give details, but I still remember that whole scene. I remember every minute detail. Sometimes traumatic incidents like that, you remember everything. You remember the weather. You remember which direction the winds were coming from. Stuff like that. It's stuff that may be minute, but that stuff gets ingrained into your brain. It's like when you have a dash cam and it hits that emergency record the moment you slam on your brakes or you get hit by something. When something bad happens, it sticks with you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure fellow veterans, can feel that as well, that may be listening to us tonight, that have gone through traumatic experiences overseas on deployment. And for a lot of people here in the States, you can go through, again, with issues we talked about earlier involving schools, or, you're involved in a domestic violence situation. Definitely do not neglect your outlets. Or even if you're going through just a lot of health problems, find a support network. Um, I know one thing that veterans battle with is against VA doctors. VA doctors are very hit or miss. There are some very good VA doctors out there, and then there's some very shitty ones that probably should have never gotten a license to practice in the first place. But that goes with any medical system, really. I don't down all our hospital workers. There are really great people out there, and there are some that make the profession look horrible. There's people like that in every profession. But definitely very serious issues. And yeah, Butcher agrees on remembering every detail. Sometimes you just do. And as I said, to this day, I don't know if that guy made it. Even the hospital wouldn't tell me, even though I was the medic that did the paperwork. So that's frustrated the hell out of me that they wouldn't tell me. I'm like, I don't need to know all the extra HIPAA stuff. I just want to know yay or nay. That's it. You don't have to tell me anything else. Just say yes or no. That's all I wanted. Yes or no. Yeah. And if the guy didn't make it, then I know I tried my best, but I can have closure behind that. That's the closure part. That's the issue. Yeah. And if the guy did make it, hey, I did my job, pat my back, we have one less statistic out there, added to another headstone. Then stuff like that matters. It's all about closure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I ramble on, so I got to take a drink.
Very good.
All right. So, any parting words you would like to say before you start closing things out?
No, just thank you for hosting this, and for those that were brave enough to join in the chat, and appreciate you all. I really enjoy this community. I really enjoy the personalities and kind of what we learn from each other, and just the encouragement that I've had lots of great constructive criticism. I've never had anybody said like, hey, you really suck, you should just not do this. So it's kind of like it's nice to have that encouragement, but also like the honesty, like you need that too. So like because that's how you get better. And so I know I'm a lot better songwriter than I was when I started doing this when I was 16 years old. And I feel like I'm even better since I, joined this platform, because I'm learning new things all the time. And, maybe in another, few years, I'll have this thing down pat, and, who knows, just maybe that one song, maybe that Taylor Swift hears and says, oh, I got to have this.
You're a Swiftie?
No, not really, but okay. So let me give you a caveat here. I'm not a big fan of her genre and her style, but I do think she has talent. I mean, I think she's got, she obviously knows what she's doing. She's really good at her not only her craft, but also
isn't she worth like $1 billion too? Like
she's
like one of the most money making music artists out there.
She's super smart in the way that she structures everything. Like she's really like she owns all the masters and everything to her. Like she's very business savvy. Like that's where she makes a lot of her money. She doesn't like a lot of artists get taken advantage of in situations. Either it used to be the record companies, but now it can be other things as well. But so I'm really not that great when it comes to the business side of things and even the technical side of things, but she's super savvy at that. I know Moses is really good at that as well, so he's a good one to learn from. About half the stuff he says kind of goes over my head, but yeah, it's good to learn that stuff,
He's a good dude. As I said, we'll convert him to be a metalhead along with us. You
Yeah, he's a real
know,
good.
I just
Yeah.
looked it up. That's why I kind of made a face there. Taylor Swift's actually worth over $2 billion. Wow,
I don't doubt it.
wow. You know, you
I got
can,
sorry for the ghost cat here. It's like
yeah.
he's making an appearance every once in a while.
That's understandable. There's two cats in this house, but as I said, they're kind of banned from the bedroom, and that's where my little streaming corner is. So you know, I get to
Yeah,
be
I wish
nice
I
and
could
cat
ban him from
free.
the bedroom. Yep. So anyway,
uh,
this one's he's a rascal.
oh, it's an orange cat. I heard things about orange cats being
Yeah.
some butt heads out there.
He's all right. He just he has his moments, but they all do. So I'm surprised the poodle hasn't been barking. She's the one with like attitude issues.
See, I just got 2 dogs and my 4 lizards. That's it. So as far as pets go,
What kind of lizards you got?
I have a northern blue tongue skink, a savanna
Okay.
monitor, and I have 2 leopard geckos.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And my northern blue tongue skink, his name is Voldy, you know, after Voldemort from Harry Potter. And he's
Mhm.
definitely got attitude. You know, he's not a very tame blue tongue skink, although he has his moments where he lets me pick him up and mess around, and I'll let him bathe in, authentic sunlight to get that fresh vitamin D instead of
Yeah.
sitting under his UVB lamp. My Savannah
Right.
monitor, he's a butthead, and I named him Vinny just because the way he always lays around, he just looks like a mob boss lizard, like so
Yeah.
his name is Vinny. It was just the first
Yeah.
mob name I can come up with in my head was Vinny. And
Yeah.
then my 2 leopard geckos is Tracer and Orisa. I named them after Overwatch characters because I play Overwatch. So that's my geeky reference there. And Tracer because she's the fast one, and Orisa because she's the sweet one.
Uh,
And then of course I have my 14-and-a-half-year-old dog Anya, and then
right.
I have a 2-year-old rough collie named King Reveille because I'm an Aggie at heart. That's the college football team I root for, and their mascot is Queen Reveille, a rough collie also. And so my King Reveille looks just like Texas A&M's mascot, and
Yeah.
he even has a bandana with Texas A&M's logo on it and stuff like that he walks around with. And people around here love it, even though I do live in Oklahoma, so everybody here's either
Yeah.
an OU or a Oklahoma State fan, and maybe
Right.
Tulsa fan. But it's weird because when I went to Tulsa, I didn't even see Tulsa University merch being sold there. It was all OU and OSU still.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, even Tulsa don't like Tulsa. Nice. All right, we're gonna close this out. One more time, if you don't mind, let's remind the viewers where you can find your music at.
Yeah, so find me on most of the major streaming platforms. I need to write these down because I always forget. Get one or so. Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube Music, Deezer. I don't know. There's some others, but anyway. So yeah, I'm out there. I just need to get more of my stuff actually on streaming because I only have 2 albums on there, and I'm actually starting the 3rd one and plan to do at least one a month because I counted up my songs. So I started this when I was 16. I have 588. So I need to.
Oh, wow.
I need
that's
to
quite
busy.
the discography there.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's like I don't know how proficient I am. I'm just like old, so I've just been doing it for a long time. So, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, I need to get busy.
Awesome. And I do believe Laura Cruz is starting to get out there as well. I can't remember which all platform she's on, but I think it is under her name Laura Cruz Music, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think so. And I want to say I know she's on I think YouTube, but let's see. I thought she mentioned she didn't give me her whole thing. I know she said something about. Well, I'm not even finding it now, but Yeah, I want to say she's on YouTube for sure, and I'm sure she's streaming on some others. You could probably just look up her name, and it's Cruse, Cruse, so no I in
Yes.
there, and you could probably find her on. You could search her on some of the platforms, and I'm sure one of those will pop.
All right, sounds good. And I won't go into my stuff, but I'm pretty much everywhere except Apple. That's why I'm always boo Apple. Um, but I'm Storm Doc with like a thunderstorm, and then Doc like a boat dock, but without the C. That's my fun little Navy vet, pun there. And I also we we also host other shows as well. Like tomorrow is, I almost said May. It is still technically May, but tomorrow is June now and not May anymore. Tomorrow is Monday, and we have two amazing shows tomorrow. One is a fun gossip show with Kay and Yetta, unfiltered and apologetic, and their show runs from 7 p to 8 p Central Standard Time. And then I host my Metal Mondays from 9 p to pretty much whenever we ended it. The length can vary. And Tuesdays is May Days, and she's doing her signature song night. So you're gonna have some artists, both that have been with us and some of the new faces that have shown around, and basically shows the song that's shows who you are, as an artist. So this is going to be fun stuff. Wednesday we have the Noe Boys, and sometimes they do artist spotlights as well, where they'll bring in some of the bigger artists in there and have little interviews with them, and sometimes they'll interview one of our independent artists as well, and they're a couple of real fun guys to hang with. Uh, Thursdays, last I checked, was still kind of open. I know we were debating after all that soul music that we listened to a bit ago, about potentially starting a Thirsty Thursday, for all that fun baby making pineapple music, as we called it. But it's not set in stone yet, it's still in the air. And then Fridays, we have occasional battles that go on Fridays. Mr. Swain, sometimes hosts his R&B stuff as well. I know Noah Gray is starting up a show, I believe, as well. And then we have a sister group called Kingdom Sound, Swain Family Records Kingdom Sound. So if you're more faith-based, you can join them for some Sunday, faith-based music, some little bit of worship, some gospel, some preaching, some faith-based stuff like that going on. So if you have a more faith-based side, come join our Facebook group at Swain Family Records Kingdom Sound. And if you like what we do here on this main channel, feel free to join Swain Family Records Music Competitive Arena, especially if you're an independent artist and you want to get your stuff out there too. We have some little something for every genre, whether you're into rock, whether you're into hip hop, whether you're into country, any genre. There's something for you. I know May is the only one with strict requirements with no explicits. That's pretty much it with that one, But I know my stuff on Mondays, it's going to be explicit. It is metal. There's plenty of explicits in metal. I do try to warn ahead of time, if there's explicit. So if you don't like it, you can mute it, whatever. I'm eventually working on radio edits to all my explicit songs because I didn't realize just how many I had. but yeah, and just remember, we're all one big happy family here. As Clayton said earlier, we do offer some very good advice. We do offer help. Whether it's just lyric writing, whether it's some inspiration. Yeah, Butcher said Thursday is the trap show too. So for those of y'all that like hip hop and metal kind of mix, that's about what trap metal is. So that's going to be interesting as well. And at Swain Family Records, we're not just hosting shows, we're building a movement. And if you're not moving how we're moving, then move right out the way. Because we are coming. We are trying to get our stuff out there. We're even working on a fun collab project amongst many of the independent artists here. I won't give out too many details on that. But stay tuned because big things are coming with Swain Family Records for sure. Uh, with that said, again, I'm going to thank everybody for coming and joining us tonight. And thank you to Mr. Clayton and Miss Laura for submitting their music for us to listen to tonight. And for Clayton, handling all my songs, or not my songs, but my boring old questions and whatnot. This is my first time doing interviewing, so I swear I will have a more prepared set later.
You did great.
No problem. And, Miss Laura out there, again, our thoughts are with you. We're thinking about you. We hope you're doing all right. We hope you get well soon. Being sick is never fun. And especially when you're playing like Russian roulette with all your medical issues, that's definitely not fun. But we wish you well. Take as much time as you need. And again, send in more loves because I love throwing out the heart gesture. We're all about that love. And for everybody else out there, stay happy, stay healthy. And I know it's not Monday, but it's also stay metal. That's my thing. I like saying it. So, all right. Thank you again, everybody, for coming. And feel free to come back into the live and listen to these guys' music. It's awesome. Thank you.
It starts with a question. In the quiet of the night, staring at numbers that don't reflect your heart. But your follower count does not define your talent. Don't let the algorithm dim your light. Welcome to a new era. At Swain Family Records, we're rewriting the rules for the independent artist. We're not just a label, we're an ecosystem built for those who push harder. Step into the competitive arena. This is where live music meets real impact. From live competitions to deep storytelling, here the community decides your momentum. Unprecedented exposure, real fans, real networking, real growth. This is a place for leaders. Host your own events, build your membership, and earn your share. The harder you push, the bigger your lane becomes. Community support keeps these doors open. Together, we are unstoppable. We're building the infrastructure of the future. Apps, radio, and direct-to-fan power. We are building the people first, so when we launch with momentum. One ecosystem, multiple revenue streams, real community, no middleman. Swain Family Records, build your legacy.